other devotional practices. If you don't have control, it will all be lost. So we must take care, otherwise we can't get anything. The devotional path has many parts. Some parts are important and some are subordinate. There are some gradation there. We have to be intelligent to understand what is important and what is not. We must give the important part importance and the subordinate part less importance, according to the time, place, and person. In scripture, 64 limbs of devotions are given, from which 9 are more important and 5 are even more important. Chanting Nama Sankirtan is most important. We must be intelligent and know the scripture. We must study and hear, carefully take the advice and practical guidance from a Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. In this way we can advance in spiritual life. Sometimes we cannot understand Guru's advice, but still we should accept the guidance. When a Guru is sincerely taking care of his disciples, he sees the advancement in the heart and knows if the disciple is getting peace and happiness. Guru wants to show the disciple how to have devotion for the Supreme Lord. Guru can help you realize this. We have to go a long way, so we should not waste our time and energy and instead continue. As well, few disciples today have scriptural knowledge, so it is difficult for them to understand the spiritual master, to get help, take his advice, get service, and to develop. It's not easy, but if we are careful and gradually surrender, then our soul can be freed from the material entanglement and attraction. Here the spiritual master has a responsibility to administrate and advise. There's one example, the purifying of gold that is mixed with other metals. Like gold, our consciousness is made impure by being mixed with many material desires. Gold is refined from other metals by the goldsmith, putting it into the fire and beating it with a hammer. Over and over the process is repeated, fire and beating. In this way, the gold becomes pure. This is the process of purification. The disciple must be ready to accept the hammer. The disciple must be soft. When hammered, he becomes soft. Without the hammer, he says, I'm going here and there, I'm doing this and that. Guru and the disciple have this kind of purifying relationship. This is not a friendship like a social club. When Arjuna surrendered in the Gita, he says, Kalpanya dosha pahata svabhava prichyami tvang dharma samutta cheta yakshreyasyam nishchitang bruhitang me shishyastiham sharimang tvang prapadam. Now I'm confused about my duty and I've lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. My intelligence and consciousness are covered by this illusion. I don't understand what my dharma is. I surrender to you, and you, Sharimang, give me direction. This is the proper relationship. Surrender means to become soft, and then Guru can speak by this hammer of knowledge. If the disciple is soft, because all the impurities are gone, the gold shines brightly. This is the surrendering process. If there's no softness and instead hardness and resistance are there, when the metal is hammered, the goldsmith will break it, and in this way, Guru will finish the disciple. Many disciples are there, and Guru hammers them all with his instruction and commands. Guru Agya means order. Guru gives command. Don't do this, don't go, go. There are commands like in the military, go right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they march on the order of the commander. They don't think. This is how disciples should take the Guru's order. Guru's disciple must practice. Just like with children and their parents. The parents say, don't eat this, don't touch this, don't do this or that, don't touch the fire. Commands are necessary. This is love. Otherwise, if there are no commands, Guru and disciple both go into the fire and be burned. This is the relationship between Guru and disciple. One is surrendered, and one is responsible to take care and to deliver them to higher consciousness, to pull him out of this material condition. Otherwise, the disciple will not move, and Guru will not move as well. They are both behaving as friends, with the results that the disciple will do his own thing. This is not love. Love means to serve, to teach, so to bring the disciple out. There's one story in the Puranas. Once there was a rishi that had many students. One student was named Upamanyu. From childhood he had a strong tendency to eat too much, and he became very fat, like Bhima. His guru saw this and saw that he was eating too much and could not do anything in life because he was becoming too fat. He was eating all the time, not just as meal times. His guru told him that on the next day he must go to the forest to take care of the cows. In the ashram, Upamanyu would eat all day, but in the forest he would not be able to do this. Upamanyu went to the forest and could not eat, because there was not any food there. Then he saw all the cows, and when he felt hungry, he went to the cows and drank their milk. After some days, Guru saw that Upamanyu was not any thinner, but actually more fat. Guru asked Upamanyu, "What are you eating in the forest?" Upamanyu answered, "When I feel hungry, I drink milk from the cows." Guru told him, "No, you can't do this. This milk is for the cows." The next day, Upamanyu went back to the forest, and he knew he couldn't take the milk because his guru had told him not to, and he followed what he was told. This is Guru Agya, to maintain truthful to direction of Guru. Still, it is very difficult to control the senses. Eventually, Upamanyu got hungry and thought, "Well, Guru Deva told me not to drink the milk from the cows, but when the calves drink, there are many bubbles of milk that come out from the calf's mouths. I will take this." After some day, Guru saw that Upamanyu's weight had still not changed. Guru asked, "Upamanyu, what do you eat now?" Upamanyu said, "Gurudeva, I don't drink the milk from the cows." Guru asked, "What do you eat?" Upamanyu answered, "I take the bubbles of milk that are coming out of the calf's mouth when the calf takes milk from the mother." Gurudeva said, "No, you cannot eat that either." Then Upamanyu went back to the forest and became very, very hungry. Then he ate one plant, the akanda. When you take the leaf of this plant, a milky substance comes out, which is poisonous. It is used medicinally, but it's not to be eaten. Upamanyu ate this, and the poison entered his body. He went blind. While walking, he fell into a deep well. He couldn't come out. He couldn't do anything. His guru came and found him. Guru asked, "What happened? Why you are in this well?" Upamanyu told him what happened. Says, "I was hungry and ate the akanda plant. Now I can't see anymore." Guru asked, "Why did you eat this plant even though you know it was poison?" Upamanyu answered, "Because I was hungry." The Guru gave Upamanyu one mantra for the sun god. He told Upamanyu that he should do this mantra with japa and meditate on the sun god, and his sight would be restored. So Upamanyu did this, and he got his sight back. Guru explained to him, "Why do you think I sent you to the forest?" "I did this to teach you to control your senses." If you can't control your stomach, you can't control the other senses. After this, Upamanyu became a great sage and wrote some of the Upanishads. Real love and affection from Guru is taking the disciple out from this material world. In our Guru Maharaj, these symptoms and qualities are there. Inside there's love and affection, but outside he's very strict. Why? Many are coming to him to take initiation and to practice spiritually, but this means they have no control. They have to control their senses. One standard of devotion exists, but not everyone can practice it. There are many classes of devotees, though there is one standard. Some say, I want to take initiation. I like it, but I don't want to give up anything. Okay, you can do that. Some compromises there. But for whoever wants to advance in spiritual life, it's different. Those who are sincere, their practice. All children go to school, but not all go to university. Some of them will go, but not all. This is the same with devotional spiritual life. There is one standard, but many classes. Those who want to be a teacher, a spiritual master in society, for these there is a different standard. Guru has responsibility. Things can be pure and impure. In spirituality there's also purity and impurity. In bhakti there's Shuddha Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. There are many gradations. Some devotees must go through all the necessary steps to attain the higher class. In Harinam, there are also necessary steps to go through before you can reach the stage of Sudanam. Actually, the Sudanam and the Shuddha Bhakti do not have the same meaning. Bhakti is always Shuddha, Harinam is always Shuddha. But for those who are practicing, these appear according to the reflections of their consciousness, like a mirror. Chetudarpanamarchanam. If the mirror is clean and everything is seen clearly, objects in the mirror are equal to what they reflect. Our realization is in accordance to our desires. Practice the three moods of nature and our consciousness. To attain Krishna and to have bhakti is no problem. The problem is to give up our desires. This is the problem. If we practice according to Guru's order and the scriptures, then determination and enthusiasm will increase. Our karma is the root cause of our desires. Our spiritual and material lives are simultaneously going on. In time, the material life will go, the body will be finished, and the soul will be free. Some say, I'm practicing, nothing happened. I never get happiness. 10 years, 20 years, nothing. Go on with your practice up to death, then you will get the result. You will see some fruit. This present karma will go away. Of course, bhakti will not destroy this immediately. It will come even in the next life. You will always get karma. All this realization matters. And if you practice, you will understand. You will have realization. You will understand how your consciousness works, and this standard will give you peace and happiness. Bhakti Pareshanubhava Viraktir Anyatra Chaisha Trika Eka Kala Prapatyamanasya Yatashnatashyus Tushtipushtikshut Ubayanukasham. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously. For one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger comes simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. Srimad Bhagavatam In the Bhagavatam it is told that bhakti is like eating. When we are hungry, we feel very weak and get pain. We become disturbed and can't think. When we eat, however much we eat, 1, 2, 3 bowls of food, in the same quantity we become free from our pain. When we get a full stomach and our full strength, we are fully satisfied. We sleep. In the same way, bhakti, however much you practice, we detach from material attraction and the desire that gives us pain. Then, at the same time, we get knowledge and we have much more love for Krishna. Our happiness increases if we become free from material attraction. Everyone will feel it. There is no doubt. Next chapter, freedom from anger. This morning I was listening to a class of Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Hare Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tiramne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachaline Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paskatya Nisantari Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vedana Shivasadi Gaura Bhakti. In this class he was saying that originally Vedic culture was based on the 8 divisions of society. And Hinduism, or that culture, was to follow those 8 divisions, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, and to follow the other varnas, Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahman. But he said that system unfortunately has been lost. We can still get a hint of what it was like, but actually has been lost. So he said also we cannot reinstitute it. It will not work to bring out the strict benefit of everything. Rather, it has become corrupted in what we call the caste system. So he says, then in this Kali Yuga, there's only one choice. Since the gradual preparation process of the Varna Ashrama system is not available in its full benefit, then there's only one chance we can have, which is chant Hare Krishna. This is the direct method which is overcoming all other limited considerations. The chanting of Hare Krishna is the essence. Therefore, we may do many things. We may live as a householder, or we may live in a brahmachari ashram, or we may be a sannyasi traveling around the world, but always we have to chant Hare Krishna. Everything will be successful by this chanting of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. When we chant Hare Krishna, we can follow Shikshastakam. We will see that we should avoid 10 offenses. We should do a lot of charitable activities to help others. That is the basic of the efforts in devotional life, going out. And that means printing books, distributing books, means making temples so people can have prasadam and can listen to classes. Or if there's no temple, you can go and give classes in social clubs or in universities. You don't need to have a temple absolutely to preach, because especially when you start something in a new place, you still don't have any friends and nobody who helps you to get a nice place. So then you can just preach in the facilities which are there. And we do that all the time. For example, in Bogota, in order to have big festivals, we make the Eco Yoga Festival, and we get a park. We go into a park, and sometimes in the park, 10,000 people come, and 10,000 people listening to the Krishna philosophy and seeing the devotees and seeing their products and buying prasadam. And so it's an incredible festival. I mean, the Eco Yoga Festival. It's been very successful, but then in the end the people became a bit envious and they wanted to charge more and more for the park use. Later it was like, oh, sorry. So now it's so difficult to find a park because they see it as so successful, so they want to take money. So much that sometimes we can't have the monthly Eco Yoga Festival. They're giving us such a hard time. But it shows that even in a park, one time I met with Atikigwa when she was close to the administration of Bogota, and we met the Jardín Botánico, the in charge, and he said, you can have a festival whenever you like in the Jardín Botánico, I give you permission. So we started that, and Jardín Botánico was in the beginning of the Eco Yoga Festival, and there came 1,000 people, 2,000 people, but then Jardín Botánico became too small. So many people wanted to come, and then Jardín Botánico, the administration changed and they wanted to charge money from us a lot. So we couldn't stay there, then we looked for other parks. And in this way, it's always a struggle, but I'm just saying that if you want to do things without having a temple, you can also preach, always find a way. Individually and also to groups. Like basically when I meet the people here, like the people who came yesterday, they said, come to Pune, come to Indore, come to Mumbai, come here and come here and come here. So we get invitation for preaching in people's places all the time. There's nothing special about that, except special is to make it, to go and to have the meeting and to inspire the people. And if you see like our ISKCON society in India, my God, they have now temples everywhere. And people want to make beautiful temples. But what we are listening here in our morning reading is that we have to try our best to really become immersed in the chanting of the holy name, deeply feeling of the chanting. And this is the bhakti process, is where the feeling is, where we are not chanting to make a show. We are chanting because we like to show the devotees that to the devotees that spiritual life is a wonderful way of living this life. Because, I mean, everybody lives his life in one or another way. Life is just going on, like Vishnu Maharaj was saying, everything moves. The universe moves, your body moves, atoms move, you move inside, you move outside, everything is in movement. Now nobody can stop that, and you will not stop it by leaving this body. It's just another move. Then the soul moves out of the body, moves into the next body, and if those who commit suicide, then they move as ghosts, but they still move. Everybody moves. There's no non-stop movement. So, and nobody can really find a fixed position. Like sometimes we want to become like more domesticated. We don't like go traveling around like a sannyasi, is very heavy, Like sometimes it's common for me in one day to visit 5 different places. Not 1, 5. Because everybody said, can you also come here? Can you also come here? Can you look what we are doing here? And a little class here, a little class there, a little class there. So that's common for me. 5 places in a day. Sometimes I give the class in the night in one city and then the next morning the class in another city. That's a common thing. So sometimes we feel like, oh, maybe I want to become more domesticated. But even the domesticated person, he cannot stop moving. Then you have to get out of your house, go to the work, find some money, go to the market, buy some vegetables, bring them back, prepare them, movement, 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 movement. And if there's nobody at your home who's cooking for you, then after you come back, then you have to go to the kitchen and start moving there, your arms and hands, and cutting some sabji and putting them in a pan and get something to eat. So in this world of movement, we have to figure out in our heart that the Supreme Lord is really the only goal and shelter. The Supreme Lord is our goal and shelter. Everything else we do will always be hampered. There's no question of finding peace in the material world. Every effort will be hampered.
La palabra español hampered. La palabra español hampered. I don't understand in English.
Obstaculizado. And when your goals meeting some obstruction or some opposition, then you have to try to solve this. Every problem has a solution. That is a fact of the matter. So our spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada, he started the Krishna conscious movement. My God, were there many obstructions. So many obstructions. I remember in Germany, the first thing when we opened the temple in Hamburg, there was some rowdies in this area. Rowdies, they're also called Hell's Angels. Who knows what the Hell's Angels are? Anybody knows Hell's Angels?
Just like demon.
They have motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
Americans.
They are
come from
dressing like very rowdies, and they want to fight all the time. They want to kick people, and they want everybody to be afraid from them. So when we got this new temple in Hamburg, the Hells Angels of this area, they discovered this. And they said, what are you doing here in our neighborhood? You're not supposed to be here. So one devotee was coming to the temple, and the Hells Angels, they were pushing him. They were standing in a group close by. And the devotees, finally he escaped from them and he ran back to the temple. And then it was Janmashtami. It was Janmashtami. And we were maybe 30 devotees. That was in the beginning of the movement in Germany. Then all of a sudden, 10 or 15 motorbikes drove up to the door of the temple. These big motorbikes. Then the Hells Angels came down and they started screaming, come out, we want to talk to you guys. And like that. And they had chains in their hand, like motor bicycle chains. Those chains are like weapons, you know. You hit somebody with this chain, he's completely, So they were calling, come out, we want you. So the devotees were locked inside the house. It was a house with a garden around. So, oh Krishna, that was an incredible story. And then, well, the devotees would not come, they would block the door, you know. And then the Hells Angels took a stone and they throw it through the window of the house. And we had a tulasi plant there, which was standing in the temple room, no? And actually later we found out it was not tulasi. But at that time we didn't know exactly what was tulasi, so it was a basil plant. So anyhow, the stone fell on the tulasi, and the tulasi was wiped out. So a screaming went through especially there was one woman, her name was Himavati. She was the elder devotee, she came from the US. And she screamed, "They killed Tulasi, they killed Tulasi, we have to defend the temple." So, what came next, there's no way to describe it. The devotees, they were like charged with adrenaline, you know. They killed Tulasi, they killed Tulasi. So, the devotees, they took a stick or anything, because we didn't have any weapons or nothing, no? But the devotees, they opened the door of the temple and they were screaming like Apaches. Apaches in the attack. And the Hells Angels, they were standing there. And they'd never seen such a thing. Man, woman, the whole mixture. There was no... I don't remember exactly who was there. But then the first Hells Angels went down. Boom! The second Hells Angels went down and everybody beating on him, you know. Like... The second Hells Angels also went down. And the others, when they saw it, they ran to their bikes and took off. So then we called the police, and the police came. I don't remember what happened to those two Hells Angels. I think the police took them because next day it came out in the newspaper. Hare Krishna's beat Hells Angels. Huh? So then the Hells Angels in the city became very angry. Huh?
They wanted revenge.
They wanted a revenge. So we were expecting 200 of them to come back. So that day we talked to one of the priests who had kind of a relationship with the Hells Angels. But that time, the devotees were, at that time they had better sticks and better things because we were they're going to come and attack us. So one guy came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. He probably came back, and he was standing there and he was like laughing. But he was a different guy. He wasn't from those groups, no? But one devotee immediately ran out and beat him, and so it was like almost a war. Anyhow, the Hells Angels never came back. Finally, that Krishna protected the devotee. The next day we went out on Sankirtan, and the people in the street said, "Oh, you beat up the Hells Angels, and you're very good people." We're selling some books. But the obstacles of preaching Krishna consciousness, they didn't stop. Then in Germany, the government didn't want the devotees anymore. The Christians, they made every opposition possible. They made it in such a way that because we were going on the street and distributing some pamphlets and asking for donation, then they said, "Oh, you're doing illegal activities." But it's not illegal to go and give somebody a flyer and asking for a donation. Even though in Russia, now it has been declared illegal. In Russia, the Orthodox Church, this is still going on. In Russia, the Orthodox Church has declared going in the street and preaching any religion is illegal. You cannot do it. So it's difficult. But those days, the Christians in Germany, they did not want they did not want any such meeting. So they were creating such a bad image. The devotees are doing illegal things. And it was not true. But the Christians, they had a special ministry. They're called Sektenbeauftragter. As the chief of attacking sects. No? And they were writing, and they had so much influence in the country, so they got all the newspapers in the country making little articles against the devotees. All the newspapers, like they were coordinated, under one. And so the devotees' image became very difficult. Very difficult. And at that time we were doing lots of Sankirtan. We were distributing Prabhupada's books everywhere in the country. The devotees were very active. So then there was one Sunday morning, the temple, at that time the devotees had a castle, some kind of a castle, a big house, big mansion with some greenery around it, no? It was beautiful. Prabhupada went there, he visited there. So one morning, I wasn't there, I was in Sweden that time. The temple was surrounded by police. Surrounded by police. Can you imagine that? Morning, the whole temple around police. They went in and arrested all the devotees and took them to the police. All the devotees. And then they went and looked how much money you got and where's your treasury and everything. And they found a pistol in the temple. A pistol, a gun. I don't know how this pistol got there. Somebody had one or he brought it. Anyway, they found the pistol. So they said, these people are armed. Huh? They have firearms, no? So that in this way they made a court case against the devotee, and they took, the devotees had a few $100,000 in the bank, and they confiscated that. They took all our Sankirtan money away for printing books and so, and kept some devotees in jail for longer time. And it was big, and Prabhupada was informed, look, your temple just has been raided in Germany. And Prabhupada had to tolerate all this. And says, yes, he says. So then he said, the Germans are like the Daityas, they're like the demons. And now they're attacking the Krishna devotees. So it was like, but the Christians were behind that. They were doing all this. They wanted to, because they could see that the devotees were successful, that young people were joining them in enthusiasm, and they became very envious, and they wanted to stop it. But somehow the Krishna prevailed, and they couldn't do it. At the end of it, when the court case came to final court case, the only thing they could find against us, that we were sometimes doing Sankirtan in some cities without asking permission, which is an offense, which is like, oh, you picked a flower in the park. This is like on that level, the offense. So they couldn't find, so they had to give us back the money, but they had ruined our image in the country. Ruined. It was very difficult. The devotees suffered so much in those days. So I'm just saying that Krishna consciousness has spread with tests and obstacles. It's not been easy. One time I was in Sao Paulo, and in the morning also with all the devotees, all of a sudden the police arrived with a big truck, and they arrested all the devotees in the temple, including myself. And I think Vrindavan Maharaj was also there, so he was also arrested. All of us were arrested and taken to jail. Can you imagine? So then they were taking everybody's fingerprint, and like the police does now. Now you're a police case, here's your fingerprint. And then we devotees, what we did, we started chanting. We were in one cell, which was like not as big as this room, but like a little, almost like, and in that cell there were also many other recently arrested people. So we started chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Then one police officer came and said, "Shut up! Stop it!" But we just kept chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. I don't know how long the kirtan was, 3 hours, 4 hours. They arrested us at 6 o'clock in the morning. At 10 o'clock, one of police officer, big guy, came and he saw the devotees there chanting. He went like this, "Oh, what am I going to do with these guys here?" So I think by 11, they sent us out, go back, get out of here. We don't know what to do with you chanting guys. So we experienced the holy name, the power of the holy name, but the opposition is there. There's opposition. There's not that everybody's in ecstasy. Like when you're in Vrindavan or in Mayapur, I mean, everything is Krishna, Krishna, Gornitai, everything is so apparently easy. But when you go out there in the street in Bucaramanga, and there's a bomb exploding there, and they're stealing from the people there. Like one time we had a little opening of a new preaching center in Palermo, in Buenos Aires. But many people came for, we have a new preaching center. Then the thieves came and they took everybody's, they pulled out guns and they took everybody's telephone, everybody, and they like cleaned out from the whole group what they could get. This is the Western, the situation in the Western world, you know, is not at all easy. Not at all. And still preaching is going on. And those people are preaching there in the West, I must tell you, I offer my most humble obeisances to them. I mean, we are here in India, we are enjoying Krishna here, Krishna there, festival here, festival there, parikrama here, parikrama there. Everything is wonderful and sweet and wow, amazing. Of course, there's opposition also. Our mind is giving opposition. There's always some opposition, but living in India really like is some kind, you're on a heavenly planet. Not when you're out there in the business world. This is why I'm talking as a preacher. But when you're going all the way down there to Uruguay, Paraguay, it's tough places, very tough. And somehow the Krishna wants his devotees all over the world. So he's inspiring them. When I started the movement in Colombia, the Vrindavan mission, together with Srila Harijan Maharaj, at that time I thought, okay, there now I will stay the rest of my life in Colombia. And I will do some work here for Prabhupada. That's what I was thinking. But, it didn't work out that way. 1 month after we had started our movement there, we got attacked by the underground guerrillas. They said they were going to kill me. So, then we were thinking, what are we going to do now? Actually, it's a long story, but what happened, I had to leave the country. 1 month after we started the mission practically. Then I went to Ecuador and started the temple there, because what you do as a devotee, you can't live without a temple, without devotees, so I started temple in Ecuador. And in this way, the movement just started spreading here and there, and no way to stop it.